Welcome everybody to Free Digital World Cup 2026. Going on with more of these weekend matches. We have a losers bracket match between Philippines and the Russian Federation, both dropping earlier on in their... Actually, this is quarterfinals, I'm sorry, but both dropping in round of 16 to their opposing teams. This time around, finally seeing each other. Seed number 11 and seed number 12, sorry, and seed number 13 for this very instance. And I'm Lightin. Joining with me is going to be my lovely co-caster, gamicrayola, also known as Gami. Hello.
Hello, Lightin. Thank you so much for that intro. And I am personally so stoked for this matchup. I believe this is the fourth last. I mean, we're sort of in the midway section of this quarterfinals weekend. And of course, we are already here. This is probably the big exclamation point match to look at this week, right? It's gonna be seed 12 versus seed 13, so it's as close as the seedings will get. It's gonna be the Russian Federation versus the Philippines. Now, to sort of zoom in as to what we are probably going to be expecting during this match, or to provide some context as to what is to happen during this match. I think we saw a lot of upsets in the previous round. These two countries did not come up from any upsets. They did not come up from any close matches or tiebreakers or whatnot. Now these two matchups are, you know, two that went pretty as expected for both of their seeds. So nothing too special, which is honestly crazy to say given how we've been seeing so many crazy things happen in the quarterfinal, in the round of 16, pardon me. I'm getting it wrong too, man. For some added context, you know, Russia lost 6-3 against Germany during their previous matchup, and Philippines lost 6-0 against Canada. So both teams coming off from pretty harsh losses, and you know, at this juncture in the losers bracket, fighting for survival, which is honestly pretty surprising considering the caliber of both of these teams, right? I definitely think both of them have a lot of firepower from either side. I think in particular, Philippines hits the high-end margins with notably, right, Nathan Ram 1918, who is probably top 5 in this 3-digit World Cup, one of the strongest players from the Filipino roster. And on the side of the Russian Federation, it's very easy to point fingers at Gamer, but I think throughout their match in the round of 16, we saw a lot of opportunities for their newer blood to really step up to the challenge. You know, I'm thinking of players such as you know, Remia and Maxim, who we can see on screen right now. But I also think Vjoy was very important in some of those speed maps alongside Cream Mentality as well, coming in for their respective slots. And I think that's what Russia really thrives in, right? They have the capability to field a lot of different combinations of players for many different maps. So I think roster depth wise, definitely looking to give it to Russia. But didn't quite get enough time to look at the picks and bans because we're going to jump straight into the action. Thank you so much, Triple Cup. It's going to be DT1 to start things off. Kisokuban Karakara, the most accessible map in this pool, picked by the Russian Federation. Lightin, let's take it away.
Yep, let's take it away. This map is going to be pretty much a hybrid when it comes to both aim and tapping. And if you know Russia, and if you look at that roster, they love their tapping. I would imagine even if Philippines missed the pick ban phase, I would imagine that Philippines probably banned something along the lines of BT2, while Russia banned something along the lines of like Nomad 4. So low AR reading is probably out of the way. The Russian Federation is not really that good when it comes to that particular skill set. But that said, it's time for DT1, and so far, so good for both of these teams. No combo drops so far. A few issues with the accuracy for Gamer, but both Ice Shark, also known as Maxim, and Rayma are looking really good so far. On the side of Philippines, though, the accuracy is worse off in general. Ikarusi with a 94% accuracy, with Chonker with 97 so far, but it's still just the first guy to come out for now, and the score difference will be shifting towards the right as Ikarusi will be the first one to find the miss.
I was about to say, we're likely not going to expect to see any action on the scoreline until we see that first miss, but first blood has been drawn, and it's going to go in favor of the Russian Federation as we move into that halfway section of the map with yet another miss coming out from Chonka. And with that, Russia surrounds Nathan Ram with a 3-way FC to beat out the Philippines 1. That scoreline is going to continue to compound further and further to the right side as, you know, we're just getting into more momentum building. accuracy be damned. I think Philippines do have the accuracy lead, but it doesn't matter when Russia is just holding that much of a firm grip on the combo lead. But Gamer finding the miss is going to bring things slightly closer, but as Nathan Ram finds the miss, that's the last vestige of hope for the Philippines going down. And with that, Russia has full control, full grasp of that scoreline as they step on the gas, moving into the last third of the map.
Exactly, Remy and Maxim doing so much work here. Still the double FC holding for the Russian Federation. 1/3 of the map still left. Nathan Ram with yet another miss. Ikarusi trying his best to recover the combo, but so far that score lead will continue going more and more towards the right as the time goes on. Remy and Maxim entirely on fire. The highest accuracy in the lobby as well from both of these two players as Russia continues to show style on this DT1 so far. Aim patterns will not be an issue. Mechanics and speed is not an issue either. Russia is running away as we speak. 600,000 score and growing. Basically full throttle on the Autobahn, full throttle on this DT1. Gamer as well with a huge recovery. Nathan Ram yet another miss, unable to find the recovery, unable to find any sort of combo aside from the intro, and Russia will be finishing this map. I wanted to see with a double FC, but honestly close enough. Ice Shark missed at the very end, but Raymia will definitely close this out with an FC off his own.
Yeah, and as expected, Russia pulling ahead with their first pick. Double time one makes a lot of sense from this Russian roster. I think they really like playing into they have really liked playing into the double times, and in particular the DT1. I believe in the last round they were number 3 on DT1 overall, so that's exactly how you want a first pick to go, right, Lightin? I think there's no better way to splice it. Just get something consistent, something you know you can win. And honestly, for what it's worth, getting a pick like DT1, which is typically rather accessible and for that reason by nature rather RNG this early on, getting a point this early on is pretty significant for Russia. So I really like how they're setting the tempo for the rest of this match. But the pick is going to go back into the hands of the Philippines, so we'll see what they opt to go for. I'm looking at sort of this classic binary tension of control and mechanics. But what are you looking at, Lightin?
I'm personally looking at No Mat 4. Honestly, all things considered, I thought that Russia would ban No Mat 4 instead of Hidden 2. Both of these maps are heavily Philippines favored, especially as the Russian roster. If you look at the qualifier results, the overall Hidden and low AR comfort for that team is just so much worse. They got seed number 18 and seed number 19 respectively on their Hidden maps. And Philippines, on the other hand, they felt a lot more confident. Actually, no, never mind. They got seed number 11 and seed number 7, but still, Philippines still felt a lot more confident when it comes to those particular skill sets. So in general, I was thinking of maybe something along the lines of No Mat 4 for the side of Philippines here would be a more confident pick in that regard. But that said, you might want to play into your strengths, and if you look at Philippines' strength, you look at those players like Nathan Ram, and you might want to even start off with something along the lines of like Fremont 3, which is going to be your liquid tech.
That's interesting. That's an interesting angle to look at it. But me personally, I'm also oriented, or I'm also coded with the mindset that I think the Philippines would prefer to pick into Russia's weaknesses, and they seem to have a very glaring weakness when it comes to both the Hiddens and the Hard Rocks. Both of the mods they seem to be very weak on, and I think that was the main point of contention during that match against Germany last week. So, given how Russia is looking to take out the Hidden 2, I'm definitely sitting with you on the Fremont 3 pick, but I could also definitely see a Hidden 1 angle from them. The rest of the picks could work. I think the Hard Rocks could work, but Hard Rock is sort of in that ballpark that it's like in the middle of the mods, right? It's a lot less divisive than say the Hidden, so I wouldn't really go into it, especially this early on, and especially if I want to try to get all of my consistent points off the table early on for that momentum. But yeah, they're really taking their time.
They kind of did pick. It's just that we had a few issues with Bancho earlier on. So yeah, I think Hidden 1 was picked from the side of Philippines. He did get a ping from the referee earlier on. Hidden 1 is a custom made by none other than Necromantic. Gonna be your technically supposed to be your standard aid map, but we don't really have that in this pool, to be fair. No Mat 1 is going to be even more awkward in comparison to Hidden 1. Hidden 1 is just basically a Russian-styled aim. And if Russian-styled aim makes you think that it might favor Russia, you will be wrong. because the map, historically speaking, for some reason, there is a very funny divide when it comes to the Russian mappers and the Russian players, because the Russian players, they prefer their compiness. But yeah, getting into the hidden one almost immediately. Hopefully Tosu will get teams back in, but we see the rosters already in so far, looking pretty good here. A few drops earlier on from Gamer. Never mind, that was Bancho. Everything is okay for that side, and an early advantage for Russia on this hidden one.
Yeah, no, interestingly enough, not going to see Nathan Ram in for a map like this. Definitely would have thought that, you know, the aim player himself would come for this hidden one, but perhaps the comfort lies in their supporting cast. A Gamer going to be the first one to miss, so, you know, Bancho miss or not, he's still going to be the first one to go down, and it's going to get added on to the toll as Ramia and Maxim follow suit. And now Philippines holding that early front foot, a reversal of what we saw from the double time one, as they are just completely outnumbering the Russian Federation so early on in the map. And it just speaks to the level of comfort, right? As I mentioned before, Russia just absolutely seems to hate all of the mods. And given how you mentioned, right, Lightin, that these players really do not like the awkward aim of this map as well. It's just one level of discomfort overlaid with another, and it's just showing right now as you move into the second half of this KI. All of the FC still intact for the Philippines as more and more free combo waits for them at the end.
Yeah, a bit of a bridge section here to get more combo to the side of Philippines. Still a triple FC on the board, half of the map already gone. But recoveries for Russia are slowly starting to come back. So if anything, if those combos for the Philippines start to drop, then maybe some bells might be ringing. However, this is not there so far. Slow section is still upon us. Few jumps coming in. No one is caught off guard for now, but the score difference is going more towards the left. But Ikarusi and Ramu will be finding their misses. It might be the opening here for Russia. It's just Lord Gabriel to hold. Maxim, though, Ice Shark will be finding a miss, but still, it will still slowly but surely go towards the right as we speak, with Gamer and Ramia with the recoveries. It all rests on Lord Gabriel, though. The time is off the essence, and as long as Lord Gabriel holds on to that combo, then Philippines should secure that point. But Ramia and Gamer are breathing in their bag. Lord Gabriel still 1,000 combo barrier broken. The combo is there. One last PI to hold through. But still, Ramia finds a miss. Gamer the only one of the combo. And I feel like with that miss from Ramia, all the chances for Russia got evaporated and snapped in an instant, as Lord Gabriel will be the one to look to secure the full combo on this hidden one.
Yep, that's right. It was always going to be difficult given how much of a lead Philippines had, even in the first half of the map. Even in the first quarter of the map, it was always going to be difficult for Russia to come back. And it just seemed as though, you know, Lord Gabriel not looking to take any chances whatsoever, securing not just an FC, but a 1 million overall solo score on this hidden one. And here we go, Lightin. You know, this is what we're expecting when we look at seed 12 versus seed 16, the closest seed matchup this weekend. You're just expecting to see a heavyweight bout where they just trade blows, blow for blow, until, you know, one starts to crack under the pressure. But I don't think, given the trajectory of these first two picks, that we're going to see that until a bit later on. It's going to take a while.
For sure. I mean, like, in general, when it comes to the skill set distribution of both of these teams, those can be, like, quite polar opposites. Philippines can still play mechanics, but Russia is just so good in that skill set. And with that DT1 out of the way, and that DT2 also not being present, you look at those maps like Nomad 2 and Fremont 2, which will most likely going to be your picks coming in from Russia, coming in forward. The main issue with Nomad 2 is that a lot of speed players consider that map an aim map, and they will not be wrong. There's a lot of aim elements in that, which might off-put a few stream and speed players from that map. While Fremont 2 is just going to be something that is going to be quite accessible to Philippines by itself. It's going to be basically a farm stream map. So the options are limited already, but out of all of these two options, I feel like Nomad 2 is probably going to be a better choice here for Russia. And here we go. Okay, very, I mean, yeah, I was about to mention, right, I wouldn't go into Fremont 2 if I was Russia, just given the fact that it's a Fremont, and given how you're the weaker team on any sort of mods, I don't think they want to play into it whatsoever. And I think overall, this Fremont 2 is a very dicey pick. I've seen a lot of matchups this weekend where, you know, it looks very comfortable for either side until the very end, where the super space streams come in and bam, there goes your score lead.
So it's definitely a very, very volatile map, and it's not a lot of security. I think what these teams want to go for, it seems, is the security. So we're gonna go into the No Mod 2. As you were talking about it, right, Lightin? This is all about the 232 BPM burst and also a lot of jumps. Now let's talk a little bit about that. I think this map, as I mentioned before, is stamina draining, yes, but I think it's very different from a standard speed shred map like, say, The Deceit. It's very, very different from maps like these because it's not necessarily a hard blanket stress test of your tapping. It's more so, it places more emphasis on how well you're able to adapt your tapping on the 232 BPM, and that takes control and it takes comfort on the BPM for you to be able to, you know, effectively play this map with good accuracy. Because speed players can complain all they want about the aim, but you have to admit at some point your ability to perceive the patterns on the screen, your ability to you know, logic out the aim and sync it up with your tapping is also very, very important when it comes to managing the higher BPM speed. So, you know, definitely expecting to see some people struggle on these, but, you know, who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? Indeed. The players are ready and the players are in the lobby. Lord Gabriel, Nathan Ram, and Carusi on the side of Philippines. Aremia, Maxim, and Gamer to G8666 on the side of Russia. A few early misses coming in from Gamer. An uncharacteristic miss coming in from this player. A main carry player when it comes to the overall performances. So far having a bit of a quiet game, but nonetheless not the end of the world so far. Still 3 FCs intact for the side of Philippines. The accuracy is also looking very, very healthy on their side too. 4 double S's in this lobby as well, with Lord Gabriel, Carusi, Remia, and Maxim holding on to that accuracy. But still, it's just the beginning of the map. It's just the start, and we will be able to see more of those misses coming forward.
First break opens up just a slight lead in favor of the Philippines right now. I don't think it'll matter too much, especially right after this break. It's full throttle into all of the speed. We're gonna begin with some doubles for these players to handle, but right after that, it's all about the triples, and then we build down or build up into more and more burst patterns. Here we go. We're really just anticipating that first miss right now, and we're not going to see much movement until this scoreboard goes down. The triples come in, and while it might not look very difficult to aim, this is where your stamina begins to burn. This is where the finger control begins to come in. Having to start and stop during, you know, your tapping is definitely a lot more intense, a lot more draining on your fingers than it might look like. But we're getting into the quads right now, and it seems as though everybody's just cruising through it right now. Accuracies as well, with the exception of Gamer, are looking sky high from every single player in the lobby right now. The map is going to begin to open up, and here's where we get more aim. This is where your adaptability needs to come in, and Nathan Ram is going to be the first one to find the miss, leaving a gaping hole for Russia to instantly dive straight in. And with that, they're going to steal the scoreline right into the hands, but Gamer unfortunately finds a miss, and now it's 2 FC 2.
2 versus 2, but the accuracy is on the side of Russia. Very close. Nathan Ram a little frustrated with their earlier miss, but nothing, not the end of the world so far. Nothing has been decided yet. It will all depend on those 4 combos. Those 4 combos that help the assess for the first quarter of the map will be the deciding factor here. 1 quarter left, 1 last TI to settle this No Mod 2. A lot of pressure built and on those players. Remia, Maxim, Lord Gabriel, and Carusi once more. 1 TI, and here come the fast sliders, not streams. Everything is coming in. Remia finally finds a miss as well. Maxim, the only combo, but Lord Gabriel and Carusi, double miss coming in from Philippines. This is a disaster here for the side of Philippines. Maxim, the only one with the combo to hold on, to bring his team, to give some fresh air to his team as well. It will continue to hold, it will continue to build, and he will be the one to save his team from utter failure on this No Mod 2. Finally finds a miss, but there's gonna be no combos for the side of Philippines to try and contest. Ice Shark has done a lot for this map. An unfortunate miss from Lord Gabriel and Carusi. A complete disaster and a complete collapse from Philippines will give the point to Russia.
Yep, and story of this match, man. Back and forth. Russia take yet another decisive pick. They pull yet another one into their hands. With that, it's back to the drawing board for the Philippines. They need to look to equalize. Any sort of slip up on any pick right now would be devastating, because we're nowhere near the mid game yet. We are still in early days. These teams need to continue to put these good, consistent scores on the board. But Philippines has a lot at their disposal. There's a lot that they could go into, and I'm definitely eyeing that. I'm definitely eyeing one of the free mods right now.
Yep, and I feel like out of all of these free mods, it's
Free mod
either
3.
free mod 1 or free mod 3. Probably free mod 3 though. We've been talking about that. The map, very well known. I think this was, first of all, pulled for OWC. It was in 4WC. It was now in 3WC. Might as well pull that in 5WC coming forward. I'm seeing that as a
6WC.
puller, by the way. 6WC coming in. Yeah, let's go, Gami. Come on.
Yep. Let's do it.
Let's do it. But yeah, Black Class, I don't think that map needs any introduction, but I guess we'll see whether they are going to actually go for that 3 mod 3. If anything, there's still a lot of options left for Philippines. They can go with that no mod 4, as I mentioned prior, that low AR that it's usually lacking for the team of the Russian Federation. On paper, Philippines should be a lot more comfortable on that particular skill set. If anything, you might want to go for Hard Rock and Ethan Ram, well known for their hard rock comfort, but this time around I'm going to be going for Fremont on a custom map by Meisho Dota. It's basically sorta kinda a mod, not a mod, sorry, anti-mod. CS 4.5, AR 8.5, really balanced when it comes to both of these mods. Quite aim heavy too, 189 BPM, and in general just a really interesting map by itself.
Yeah, and I think this pick itself is interesting to me as well, right? Because it's like you said before, right, Lightin? It's kind of anti-mod. It's kind of, because the CS and the AR, which is usually the big, stat changes that you see in the anti-mod, it's not exactly large enough. It's rather accommodating for players. The CS 4.5 is not quite CS 5, so it's not that small for the hard rock players, and the AR 8.5 is not that low for the hidden players. So I was gonna mention this point if we did get to see the free mod 3, but one thing I'd be interested to look at, or one thing I'd look out for in the free mods is, despite the fact that Russia might be the weaker team on the free mod, given the nature of both the free mod 1 and free mod 3, which is the two picks that we're expecting to see Philippines go for throughout the course of this match, these two free mod picks aren't necessarily as divisive as we would hope for them to be. And for that reason, I do actually think Russia has a pretty damn good chance going into it, right? Because the CS isn't that small. Once again, the AR isn't that high. They definitely, that's definitely a huge plus for Russia, especially being the team that's weaker on the mods overall. But with that said, this is 3 minutes and 41 seconds of slight anti-mod or light anti-mod. A lot of consistency is going to be demanded from both of these players. So while Nick does give you some salvation with the kinda map stats, does not go easy on you with the length whatsoever. So consistency is key. Looks like early stages, it looks like Lord Gabriel and Chonka are actually going to overmod on the hard rock, not wanting to play on the AR 8.5 playfield at all. And meanwhile, Russia, nothing too special from them, bringing in CR7 for the nomad anchor, Game on the hidden, and Raimi on the hard rock.
Yep, Prime Mentality, also known as Sayot, has been a pretty well-known 3-digit player for Russia. Has been quite quiet for now, for the past couple of years, but a lot of potential is in that name. Waiting until we get back on track with this map. But that said, this Fremont 1 should be on paper favored towards the Philippines, but anything could happen. And with that early miss from Nathan Ram, it looks like we have a disconnect from Kyoto, or what's happening?
Hold up. Okay, I think this is an abort angle. Okay, we'll have to do a quick check, I think, with the refs on the ground, but I do believe it will be an abort. Honestly, it's pretty. This abort's pretty good for Philippines, given how they found 3 early misses while Russia holds 2 FC. So, honestly, kind of a good restart for Philippines.
That is true.
Hopefully, we should get to see the abort soon. Oh, I think this is the abort.
Oh, never mind.
Oh.
I love Bancho. I guess Sayota needs a little bit of time to get back into the game, I guess. Crime Mentality, my goat. I've been hyping it up just for him to load into the map for quite a while.
Bancho,
but still
man.
not.
Bancho D1 op.
Yeah, that said though, as soon as the Bancho decided to hold Ramia, Gamer, and etc., Chonker did find a miss, and this one is quite significant though, as Gamer and Ramia are still with those full combos. Cry Mentality finally catching up to his teammates, and the score difference is going to be on the side of the Russian Federation so far. 48,000 score difference. Chonker with that miss on the into the tradition into the first PI. Another miss as well. The Hard Rock still down, but those modded FCs for Russia are still holding. Rainy and Gamer putting a lot of work here. Lord Gabriel and Nathan Ram will try to offset this, but so far it's looking very, very good for Russia. Never mind though, a slow slider will catch Crime Mentality off guard.
Yeah, heartbreaking, but that's not the combo that you want to go down, right? Ramia and Gamer, the two big FCs on the side of Russian Federation, are looking so scary. And with that miss from Lord Gabriel, I mean, no favors are being done for this Filipino roster. And it seems as though at this juncture, this pick has honestly backfired and misfired right into their faces. Nathan Ram really the only one left alive in the lobby in this verse, the only one building up any sort of meaningful recovery, any sort of meaningful momentum at this juncture of the map as we move past this halfway point. Cray Mentality just pushing up, pushing back against any sort of recovery. I mean, before the Philippines can even think about a recovery, they need Ramia and Gamer to miss, and even if they find a miss, I don't know if that lone recovery from is gonna be enough. Oh man,
Nathan Ram with the miss. The final hope for Philippines gone for this free mod 1 as Ramia and Gamer will take us further with that combo. The map might be long and we might be sitting here for a while, but this might as well turn into the Ramia and Gamer show. A solo section here, a few streams coming in, more jumps, some more space jumps as well, but Ramia and Gamer are on pace so far. Finally, one of those combos will drop, but Gamer is still there, has been quiet for the first portion of this match, finally waking up to show what he is capable of. The difference is building even more as we speak. 600,000 score difference, which is going even more towards the right as Gamer still retains that full combo. No combo for Gamer as well, I suppose. He finds a miss as well. Lord Gabriel and Chonker to trade, but this ultimately will not matter. No FCs for Russia, no FCs on the board in general, but such a strong showing as well. We have been doubting the modded plays for Russia earlier on when we discussed their pick strategy, but this pick makes me think otherwise. Gamer and Ramia doing a lot of work here and just showing up an incredible performance to get this free mod 1 breakpoint into their own hands and shift the momentum towards the side of Russia.
They're going to be tipping the scales of balance at this juncture in the map. Definitely what you want to see if you're a fan of Russia here. First breakpoint in the match, 4 picks in. And with that, they're going to be taking the series 1 to 3. Russia now has a single breakpoint of buffer for anything they want to go for. And this is huge because Russia now gets to play more aggressive with their picks. And that's what I was so afraid of, right, Lightin? I think the free mods aren't divisive enough to favor the likes of the Philippines or to really throw Russia that far down when it comes down to it. And I think that's definitely what gave Russia that additional push all the way into the end. I mean, not to mention, of course, the incredible scores being pushed out from both of the mods from Russia, Ramia and Gamer. Phenomenal stuff from them.
Yep, stepped up when they needed. And now it's going to be Russia's turn to pick. A consolidated breakpoint potentially will be a nightmare for Philippines. And this time around, we are going to be seeing an HR2 being picked. The Natsu Isen Zakura map by none other than Hollow Wings. This is going to be your precision control map, basically. And honestly, a very risky pick coming in from Russia, all things considered. Yes, their camera comfort is like pretty good, but picking that into Philippines is dangerous territory, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, 100%, right? Not too sure about this pick, Lightin. I am not the biggest fan of this kind of pick. I get that Russia can play aggressive, but why go for a pick like this when you still have the DT3 available to you, right? Maybe they were afraid of of something, you know? I mean, I don't know why they would go into this kind of pick, considering that they still have the double time 3, they still have the free mod 3. And they still have the Nobot 1 at their disposal. I don't think any of these picks are necessarily incredibly Russia coded, but definitely more Russia favored than Hard Rock 2, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of this kind of pick.
Yeah, still though, knowing the players, knowing the region, I feel like there is some merit to this pick. In general, I feel like this is more of a play for Gamer, Ramia, and maybe Viljoy. Nedja can also play this. So far, we haven't really seen Nedja in this match so far. So hopefully, or maybe we will see him for this HR2. That said, still Russia 3-1 lead, a potential for a consolidated big point. And if they get this HR2, then honestly you might as well be living a life in luxury, because 1-4 lead, while on paper doesn't seem that bad, it's actually really just that bad. And with that, we are slowly going to be transitioning into this HR2. Yeah, getting into this HR2 now. A pick from Russia. The map by itself gonna be quite short when it comes to the overall drain time. 1 minute and 43 seconds long, so every single combo is gonna matter. So far, see Nedja, Gamer, and Viljoy on the side of Russia. Lord Gabriel, Nathan Ram, and Chonker on the side of Philippines. An early miss coming in from Viljoy, traded by Nathan Ram as we start off with the more intermediate section, but still nothing too crazy so far. But the slight advantage is on the side of Philippines for now.
That's right, early actually going to be pushed in favor of the Philippines as well, as Viljoy struggles to find his foothold. And I think on a map like this, it's very difficult to exercise any sort of consistency from any one of these players in the lobbies. But as the scoreboard opens, the combo lead is very clearly in favor of the Philippines. And I think Russia needs to hope for a miss on the left side. They need to hope for some form of a trade, because this is a very short map. These score lines can skyrocket and spiral out of control extremely quickly. We are in sort of a build-up section here, but after this is full throttle back into the next bout of jumps. Lord Gabriel, however, is going to be the one to find the miss. Traded up by Nesja, however. So for what it's worth, I do think the scales are going to slightly tip in favor of Russia. But if Viljoy finds another miss, it could spell disaster for the scoreline.
Indeed, but Gamer still with that FC. The accuracy might not be looking good. Still offset by Chonker, 99% accuracy in comparison to Gamer's 96. Another miss from Viljoy to exacerbate the situation. Trade from Nathan Ram and Nedja, but Gamer and Chonker will be missing at exactly the same time, and I don't think this favors Russia in any shape or form. Lord Gabriel still with that 200 combo recovery, and the accuracy lead and the overall score lead that Philippines have been building so far will prove a disaster here for Russia, as Philippines will be taking a break point from them. Not the best pick here coming in from Russia, and our concerns have been proven with this map, as Philippines are now 2-3, looking to get and equalize the score with their own pick with their right after this map, basically.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't. The more okay, look, I don't want to speak for these players. I'm sure they had their reasoning for this kind of pick, but as a third-party view, I just don't know why Russia had to take this risk. You know, this is the kind of pick that I would see them going for later on. Maybe, you know, they wanted to get the Hard Rock 2 out before the nerves started set in. Maybe that was one of the considerations. Maybe they had better team scores in practice than, you know, on paper. On paper than, you know, in practice. I'm not too sure at the end of the day. But for what it's worth, the Philippines are going to equalize the breakpoints, and it's going to go back into their hands to see the equalization. Honestly, Lightin, once again, I could honestly see any amount of the mods being picked here, right? I don't think they go free mod 2, so personally, Hard Rock 1 coming out of the Hard Rock 2 momentum seems like a pretty viable option. You know, of course, ignoring the very obvious glaring free mod 3 that we've been expecting them to go for since the start of this match.
Address me, but yeah, that Hard Rock 2 on paper doesn't seem that bad for Philippines either. If anything, though, I feel like it's gonna be more close actually in comparison to HR2. HR1 is considered to be more of a mech techie map in that case. And we know which team mechanics is favored for, so not really that convinced with HR1, but I would not really be opposed to that pick. No Mod 4 and Fremont 3 are still open, and we go Fremont 2 instead. Age of Tyranny, a very interesting pick coming in from the side of Philippines. You were very confident that they will not pick this, but I guess we're gonna see some farm flow aim action coming in.
Okay, Lightin. But again, I'm personally not a big fan of this kind of pick. But you know, unlike the Hard Rock 2 pick from Russia, I do actually kind of see the vision for Philippines right here. I think this is an aggressive pick from the Philippines, because this is one of the picks that I expected Russia to go for, right? You're looking at the reaction from the Russian roster as well. You can tell that you can tell that, you know, they're rather surprised that Philippines decided to go for this kind of pick. But then you look at the roster of the players from the Philippines, and it honestly looks rather promising, to say the very least. Of course, big elephant in the room, of course, right? Nathan Ram is the player that you're expecting to show up on a map like this. But you know, I think they do have a pretty solid support. In fact, comparing these two teams on paper, like at least looking at the qualifier results, these two teams were only 2 seed placements away from each other on the No Mod 2, which is pretty similar in skill set, right? Stream wise. I frankly don't think that this is as favored as a Russian pick as I would have thought. I more so thought that there is no better pick for Russia, hence why they should go for this No Mod 2 pick. The same cannot be said for Philippines, I think.
I agree, but in general, also adding on to your points, I feel like another player to look at here for is going to be Ikarusi on the side of Philippines. They are really good when it comes to flow aim. They have done wonders on that, on Seeking You, Fremont 3 back in OWC. They have, in general, been playing this skill set quite well. And on the side of Russia, you have someone like Gamer, who basically used to be a one-trick of this skill set at some point. This time around, a lot more versatile, but still this remains his main skill set, and you can kind of see it with the Hard Rock being picked for him and Xayoro as well. I feel like Russia as a region historically has Russia has always been historically been good at this type of skill set. But that being said, it is time for this Fremont 2, still really close when it comes to this course, and Gamer retains, I want to say retain that S-Pass, but not anymore. So far, it's still good for all these teams.
It's gonna be a while before we see any movement. Sorry, right now. It's gonna be a while before we see any movement in the score lead, as both of these teams look to stabilize throughout the course of this first KI. I mean, it's just neck and neck right now, right? Just a slight accuracy lead going in favor of the Philippines, but that's not really what we're expecting to see. And are we actually going to get out of this first KI completely scot-free from the entire lobby? I mean, look at the accuracies from everybody. It's just so consistent. But as I say that, V-Joy finds that first miss, draws first blood, and with that, Philippines instantly skyrocket that scoreline in favor of the left side. Oh my goodness, that must be heartbreaking if you're V-Joy.
That indeed is heartbreaking, but still, triple FC for the side of Philippines, still going strong. That accuracy is also looking really good as the score lead continues to go on and on, more towards the side of Philippines. Gamer still the one to contest with Hard Rock, still holding an incredibly good accuracy for this modification in particular. But that being said, it's still very difficult here. Villjoy will find another miss as Ramia and Gamer. But Nathan Rando, oh no, the huge chain miss as well. Finally, it gives a bit of opportunity for Russia to try and come back from. Gamer and Ramia will be the one to try and bring it back, but Lord Gabriel and Carusi will still hold on to their combos.
And there is enough time, Lightin. We are only just slightly past the halfway mark of the map, and we're moving to the aim section now. I've said it once for every single match I've casted this week, but there's always been at least one break in this section. Will history prove itself again? Will the nerves get to these players? This is where it builds up as we get slowly but surely escorted into the last quarter. Gamer finds the miss right at the end of the aim section and going into the last KI, the last bout of streams. And that's going to be rough for the Russian Federation as Lord Gabriel and Ikarusi on the No More Anchor and on the Hard Rock completely overpowered the likes of Ramia. Just sitting on his lonesome on the no mod, trying his best, but it's just not going to be enough as Philippines grows the scoreline further and further to the 300k margin.
Yeah, it looks really bad here. But Ikarusi with a huge chain miss as well as just Remy versus Lord Gabriel, but I don't think there's enough time. And even if you're rooting for Russia here, you gotta pray for Lord Gabriel to miss, but that hard rock combo is still holding strong, 99.5% accuracy as well. It's ridiculous to me that the hard rock combo is going to be the last one to stay alive here for Philippines, but Lord Gabriel doesn't seem to know, doesn't seem to be aware of this particular fact. Holds on to the space stream as well. No, a huge chain miss though, but it will not matter. Ramia will close this map out with an FC, but it was just so close there for Lord Gabriel. That hard rock FC would have been a crazy score for this, but still the job has been done and the score is now equalized.
That's right. I mean, I said it before, right? I don't, even though this 3-2 is an aggressive pick from the Philippines, I see the plot here. I see the plot, and I really, really liked that they decided to go for this because it worked out for them. That's one pick that Russia could have gone for that Philippines has now completely shut down. And interestingly enough, Russia are going to respond by pivoting into Gimmick. No, for what are your thoughts on this, Lightin?
I am quite surprised, honestly. I was not expecting this, but yeah, interesting. I mean, if Russia had someone like Vlados or Markrim, I would be very happy to see this. I'm not really sure whether this is the strategy they want to go here. That said, a custom map by Xidorn, we will not tolerate Xidorn Slatter unless I can see if you Xidorn can Slatter himself. But yeah, that being said, a 3-3 score, still very much equal, basically a best of 5 at this point, and a very risky pick coming in from Russia. Yes, you can kind of play this, and Philippines, this is not their best skill set to be fair, but on paper, Philippines is still probably a lot better at this in comparison to Russia, knowing the players at least.
Yeah, no, 100% right. I think it's a lot. This kind of pick seems a lot more convincing coming from the Philippines than it does from Russia. Yeah, but this number 4 it's all gonna be about that structural reading. Is this a custom map, Lightin? Do correct me.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is a custom map. Yeah, it is a custom map by Zydon. So huge shout outs to Zydon. As much as Zydon likes to mod in Twitch chat. A lot of structural reading to be found in this map alongside some added density tapping as well to add into the mix. AR8, so filling in the lack thereof in the free mod 1. Filling in that low AR slot. And overall, right, I think for the earlier sections of the map, we'll likely see pretty consistent, just some very, very standard accustoming to the AR and, you know, the tempo and how this map plays. But in the later sections, notably in the second half, I'm definitely expecting to see a lot of combos go down as the hexagonal wide angle polygons start to kick in, and the reading starts to really be
got me. But yeah, you just love your hexagons. But
you know I do, brother.
I know exactly why. But yeah, Ramu will be the one to find the miss first off. Maxim will be the one to trade, but the accuracy for the Russian side will be significantly worse off than that of the Philippines. Another miss coming in from Ice Shark. You put a mechanics speed player on a reading map, and here is the result here for now. Not the best start here for Ice Shark, but nonetheless, 2 FCs on the side of Philippines from Nathan Ram and Ikarusi. Ikarusi as well with a pretty good accuracy at 99%. We'll drop it a little as soon as I mention that, but nonetheless, 80,000 score difference with the first half of the map already gone. And with that, Philippines are looking very, very confident so far. And a huge collapse here from Russia. That's what I thought would happen when they picked this, and that's exactly what happened as well. High mentality gamer Maxim out of the way, and those 2 FCs will still hold on here. The map is basically over at this point. Nathan Ram might miss as much as he wants, but Ikarusi is still there with an FC, 99.1% accuracy, still holds on to that, and basically Russia has just collapsed with that full-on triple miss. and Philippines will be the ones to run away with this score. And the question that we have so far is, can Ikarusi close this map out with an FC? And looks like they might do that as well. They've been so close with that Hard Rock FC, and they were so close on this Nomad 4 as well. So close yet so far, but once again, the job has been done, and it's a 4-3. Philippines are just running away.
Yeah, no, my hands are on my head. Like, the only thing I can say is, why? Is there like a spy on the Russian side picking these maps? Oh, what?
I don't know.
What?
Is X-Fire there?
Yeah, like did they get conditioned by Zidon or something to pick their map? Like, what?
I don't know.
What?
But that's a very peculiar pick from Russia. I'm not just 2 picks in a row. I'm not a huge fan of.
All right, now Philippines picks into Russia again, right? That's just what happens. You know, they're just kind like that.
I mean, I don't think there's anything Russia coded left in the pool. Maybe DT3 and maybe HR1. DT3 for the overall DT comfort, but probably not. HR1 for that mech tech. The mech part does favor Russia. The tech part favors Philippines. So it's
I do think that's the best bet though, Lightin. I can't help but feel as though Harvard 1 is probably the best bet, since DT3 is like... DT3 is sort of in that grey area. Interestingly enough, both teams, or probably just the Philippines, has been very, very fearful of going into anything control-oriented, or going into control as a genre, right? All the 3 slots have been left unpicked from Philippines, even though we've been saying that this is probably what they would go for. So
yeah, exactly.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Oh, there we go.
Okay,
finally.
Okay. Thank you. All right. You know, as much as I want to talk about how good this is for Philippines, man, you can never be too sure, dude. You can never be too sure. Russia just kind of does things on all of the maps. Every single time I'm like, they have no picks. They always have picks.
You know what? I'm gonna be very confident on this. Yes. You know, the only argument that you can make for Russia is that they can do well on this is that this was a custom for Hedgehog Madness, which is a Russian auction, basically, most of the time. So maybe that will help them. But honestly, all things considered, on paper, this should be heavily Philippines favored. Russia can play this technically, but on paper, you look at the players like Nathan Ram, but this is basically just the playground for Nathan Ram when it comes to this pick. Most eyes will be on him. I would imagine Ikarusi would also feel relatively comfortable on this map too. All on the Russian side, you'd probably have someone like Gamer, and then I'm not sure who you put in to fill in the last 2 slots too. Because yes, you have Gamer. Gamer will play every single map in this pool. You have Ice Shark, once again a mechanics speed player, and then you have Viljoy, once again a mechanics speed player. So yeah, it makes you think.
Yeah, I don't wanna sound like a hater right now, because don't get me wrong, I'm D1 Nathan Ram Blazer, but it has been seeming as though I don't know, in the 3-digit World Cup thus far, Nathan Ram has really struggled during the earlier SRs to really be that X factor. You know, it's mostly players such as Lord Gabriel and Ikarusi who are the main driving factors of points for the Philippines, especially in the round 16, and sort of in this quarterfinals matchup that we're witnessing now. And even looking at the Nomad 4 pick, you know, I know it's not very similar in terms of the tech style, but at least it's in the same ballpark of control. Russia actually pulled ahead just off the back of a massive carry performance from Gamer. And meanwhile, overall team performance was not looking the best from Philippines, so it does speak a bit to their perhaps lack of consistency on a map like this. Early miss coming out from Ikarusi shouldn't matter too much, as it's being traded up by Bidroy very, very shortly. Maxim gonna be the next one to add to the total, so now Philippines holding that combo lead 2-1 against Gamer, and that scoreline is going fast, Lightin.
It is going fast. I think the strategy here for Russia is to let Gamer shine as much as possible, and for Maxim and Viljoy to tank those hidden Hard Rocks. But so far, Gamer is looking good. The accuracy, the highest one in the lobby. But still, it's 2 FCs versus 1 with Ikarusi with a crazy recovery with the Hard Rock. This map on Hard Rock as well is also really difficult. Both Hard Rock and Hidden on this is just honestly demon. Viljoy will be the one to find the break on the side of Russia. But so far, it's 2 FCs versus 1 yet again. Gamer will be dropping that FC, and with that FC dropped, I don't think Russia has any chances to try and come back into this map whatsoever. Nathan Ram and Ramu still with those FCs, and Ikarusi with that recovery. This is basically a slaughterhouse for now, and Russia Russia will be the fresh meat for Philippines to consume.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, trying to justify this kind of pick for Russia, trying to, you know, up their chances, up their odds, but it just seemed as though the consistency from Philippines, they hurt me and they proved me wrong. Going into the last quarter of the map, and it's just the style points right now. Nathan Ram and Ramu leading the charge with the double FC, double 99s as well, and Ikarusi right behind them finally finds the miss. But I mean, that's looking to be a 700 total score as Nathan Ram and Ramu are demolishing the rest of this map. As you mentioned, right, Lightin? Nathan Ram, this is his playground. My bad.
Yeah, this is his playground. Obviously, he did not play that modded because putting any single mod on this map will make it basically a lot more difficult. But that being said, an FC is an FC, and Nathan Ram is the man to just honestly eat those maps for breakfast. Ikarusi, that score with Hard Rock as well, 680,000. Honestly, just about everyone in this lobby is doing so good on the side of the Philippines, which cannot be said for Russia. This was just a beating, basically a hydrogen bomb versus a cuffing baby when it comes to this Fremont free. But now it's going to be Russia's turn to pick, and it's not yet over. But with all of these, yeah, you might go for DT free. I would honestly consider HR1, but I guess Russia go with their double time comfort instead.
Yeah, and it looks like they will be. This is an odd one, right? Like, thank you, Nick. Praise Nick for these really peculiar double time threes. Last week we got what, double time tech. This time it's double time alt. This hits a very high echelon. It's like old map alt, right? This hits a very high echelon of alt BPM. Hits the tippy top. I believe it's around. Oh, correct me. I believe it's around 190. Is it 190? I think it's around 190.
Yeah. Basically, it's about 190 and a half. To be fair, the map is done in 1-2 rhythms, so it's going to be 1-4 and 190. At this point, it does fit towards that DT alt category, so it should be more than fine in that regard. That being said, though, the pick is from Russia. They already have the roster in mind. I would imagine it's probably Gamerania and maybe Neja. Neja, the only off-putting factor here for Neja is that it could be an old map, which I don't think he likes that much, but on paper, he plays alt well, he plays DT well, so might as well just put him in. That said, for the side of Philippines, okay, we got Ice Shark again. Also makes sense. I mean, Russia has just a lot of mechanics players, and this pool is just not really that mechanical, to be fair. That said, you have Ikarusi, Chonker, and Lord Gabriel for the side of Philippines. No Nathan Ram, surprisingly enough. I would imagine Nathan Ram would probably be here, but... Or maybe we will have Nathan Ram.
Yeah, maybe surely we'll have Nathan Ram. I don't think there's a world where he doesn't come in for this. Watch as Lord Gabriel. Okay. Yeah. This is a double time 3 pick. Once again, it's old map alt. I don't know. Picking a control pick in right after losing a control pick is definitely rather dicey, but I think there's not really a better pick for Russia. Maybe the Hard Rock 1 would have been better, but for what it's worth, from this point on, Philippines has Russia backed into a corner, right? They're threatening match point, and Russia need to survive 2 more picks, one of their own and one of their opponents. Here we go, early sections of the map, and you instantly get to see what it's all about, right? These weird flowing angles alongside some cut doubles as well to add to the mix. Chonka, Ikarusi alongside Maxim going to be the first misses to go down.
Pretty much few first misses coming in. A slight advantage here for Russia earlier on. Chonker as well with a miss. 2 FCs versus 1, as Nathan Ram will be the only one to hold the combo for the side of Philippines. But so far, still good. And finally, Russia getting some breath of fresh air after a long while, after a long loss. They were, just to remind you, on a score of 1-3, they have lost 4 maps in a row, looking to finally break that streak from Philippines, to get the momentum back on their side, to have the chances to try and come back into this match with those combos.
Oh yeah,
around the combo, the FC gone in Russia. They are not done. They want to fight, and they will keep fighting for this match. Gamer and Raimia once again still to hold on for their respective Cs. Raimia as well knows Lightin has dropped Max and will be dropping his recovery, but still not the end of the world as long as those two combos hold. Still a half of the map left. Ikarusi, the highest combo on the side of Philippines, to try and contest this Russian team. Raimia will find the miss, and maybe with that miss, Philippines might have an opportunity to try and come back.
Yeah, Philippines have the combo lead at this juncture. The scoreboard opens. Gamer knows what's at stake right now. He knows he's back into a corner, and they're moving to the last of the map. There is definitely enough time given how volatile Double Tide is, right? This is how fast the score lines can shift. And that recovery from Ikarusi is more than enough, not to mention Nathan Ram and Chonka right behind him to back him up. That scoreline is going to decrease, and it's going to decrease rapidly. Gamer, there is absolutely no room for error. There's no room for error from any one of the combos on the side of the Russian Federation right now, as the scoreline closes further and further, closer and closer, pardon me, to that 100k margin. The scoreboard opens one last time, and this is the pivotal moment. Any reverse slider, any lapse in judgment, any lapse in focus could cause the scoreline to swing right now. But it seems as though in a game of chances, Russia like those odds, as Ikarusi is gonna be the one to find the miss. As try as they may, it's not gonna be enough for the Philippines to win this point. They live to see another pick.
They live to see another pick indeed. It's either tiebreaker or Philippines take it with their own pick. That was so close yet so far. Ikarusi was just so close, but we gotta mention the elephant in the room. Gamer 228666 with the FC to get his team that fourth point on the board, to keep them afloat, to keep the dreams alive, to keep the tournament live still intact. And with that, it's going to be Philippines' turn to pick. And as we've mentioned prior, they have just a whole pool to pick out from. Yes, you have that HR1, which is probably more Russia favored. You might as well go for that Nomad 3, because so far, I mean, yeah, you lost that DT3, but DT3 was more old map. There was not a lot of control. It's more flow, if anything. So I feel like if you want to go for something like this, you either go Nomad 3, you either go Awkward Aim, AR9 Density, and Nomad 1, and just do not touch that Hard Rock 1. Out of all of these options, I'm more sympathetic towards that Nomad 1, to be fair, considering how well Philippines did on that hidden one.
Yeah, no. You know, as much as I really want to see this Nomad 3 come out, it's somewhere deep inside my heart. You know, this Nomad 1 is beckoning to me. Last pick, Nomad 1. Last pick, Nomad 1. Do it, do it, do it. Oh, man. Oh, man. I think any one of these picks is going to be sort of a coin flip role at the end of the day, right, Lightin? The Philippines is the stronger country when it comes to the hard rocks, but the one when it comes to any mods. But when it comes to the only modded map remaining, the hard rock 1, they can't really go for it with any sort of security, right? Because it favors Russia.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, I was about to say it, but then you're going to the no mod pool, and it looks like Philippines do not, under any circumstance, want to give any no mods to the Russian Federation, and they're looking to go for the hard rock 1. Another sub 2-minute map, Lightin. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, this one is a classic as well. For those of you who have played back in 2016, 2017, you might know this map. This is going to be basically what tech maps look back in the days. And this one is going to be very mech tech focused, 200 BPM, so some tapping involved. But in general, this is going to be a little dicey here because first of all, Russia, they look quite good on that mechanic side. Hence the mech part of the mech tech thing, but anything else, the tech part goes to Philippines. And as somebody has mentioned in the chat, as Speakerbot has mentioned in the chat, they might as well pick this for Chonker to go crazy, because this kind of screams Chonker, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this pick, right, Lightin?
Maybe not.
Oh, on one hand,
we don't see Chonker.
Right. No Chonker. Okay. I think on one hand, there was not a better pick from the Philippines, but on the other hand, right, I just can't grapple with the fact that, you know, the Russia on their most pivotal point, on their most pivotal map, gets gifted, you know, mechanics. They get gifted mech. Yes, it is mech tech. And personally, Lightin, I don't know about you, but I honestly feel as though the mech requirement is actually more intensive than the tech. If anything, I'd describe this as sort of light tech. So in that aspect, I really like to look towards Russia. And if you're one last thing, if we're looking at the modded divide, right, I do think Russia is stronger on the hard rock than they are on the hidden. But here we go, final map in the pool. Do we go to tiebreak or does Philippines take it home?
That is the question that is lingering on our minds so far. But it looks like on the accuracy department, Russia will be the one to be favored here. But Remy and Nathan Ram trading their misses almost at the same time, so nothing too significant here. Two FCs versus two Lord Gabriel Cruz versus Gamer and Villjoy. Another miss coming in from Remy, though, will hurt them tremendously. And a miss from Villjoy, too. This one is going to be untraded. And with that, Lord Gabriel and Carusi will consolidate the score difference towards their side. It's just Gamer to hold for the side of Russia. But Lord Gabriel and Carusi still with those double FCs. Nathan Ram with the recovery, too. It looks so bad here for now, but still half of the map left, and the hope is all that remains.
That's right, a slow section to kick in. This is the A squad of the Philippines 3WT roster, right? It's gonna take a lot to break down this core of three, but if there's any country who can do it, it has to be Russia. It has to be Russia at this juncture. Gamer is folding down the fort, and now Ramia and Vidra are just waiting for their golden opportunity, but Ramia will not get far with the combo as the Philippines continue to persist and persist and persist till Gamer finds the miss. Lord Gabriel be damned finally goes down, but Ikarusi 800 combo and counting. The golden star of the Philippines shine bright as ever as Vjoy, the last vestige of hope for Russia, find the miss. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like it. Philippines will be sending Russia home, taking the match, taking the series 6-4.
6-4 indeed. Ikarusi doing so much throughout this entire matchup. Honestly, just a crazy prodigy coming in from the side of Philippines, being a key cornerstone for that roster for multiple of these maps. And with that being said, Philippines will be the one to advance further into the semifinals while Russia will get eliminated. Gamer tried to hold the fort for as long as possible, but this time around, it's back to the drawing board. It was a good experiment coming in from Russia. Get this new blood, get this new players in to try and give them experience and see how they perform. And honestly, all things considered, they did a pretty good job. Not a lot of expectations were put on that roster, but they still did their best. 3 points against Germany, 4 points against Philippines. And with that, Russia will get eliminated from Free Digital World Cup 2026. And Philippines will advance further, Gami.
It was a good match. It was a good run. I think Russia could have definitely done a lot more in this tournament, but I also do think that they, in this iteration of the World Cup, they brought a lot of their new talent, and you know what? I gotta give them credit. They definitely gave me a show. I casted both of their matches, and I saw them develop. And I was definitely very, very pleasantly surprised to see them do as well as they did.
Yep.
Oh, hold up.
That being said, I think it is. Oh, are you? Okay,
That's
well,
powerful.
I guess while he is dead, we will be saying our goodbyes then for Free Digital World Cup 2026. See you soon. Hopefully you've enjoyed this match. Once again, congratulations to Philippines and good luck with their future matches. And good game well played from Russia. We will hope to see you stronger, and we'll hope to see you again in the next iteration. And with that, I was Lightin, he was Gami, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.